Jeff, you guys got a tough opponent, Wake Forest, coming up on the road. They had a tough one this past week, but what do they do that's so dangerous that you guys got to focus on?
First and foremost, they're really good. They've been a lot better defensively this year than they were last year. Not saying they weren't good last year, but they've been very good defensively. A little bit more aggressive, forcing about 14 steals a game. They have really good size, older guys. Offensively, they have one of the better guys in the league in Hunter Salas, who was a first team all conference guy last year, could really score it on all three levels. Hildreth can really score, drives it, gets fouled a lot. Um, and then they have a guy inside, and Efton Reed, who can score with his back to the basket, really protects the rim. Spillers has been very good for him this year, transfer for App State. Very good rebounder, can score it. So they're just a balanced team. They really get out in transition. They've been a much different team at home this year than they have been on the road. Excuse me. I think they've lost once at home, twice the whole year, to two top five teams. And so they're just a really good basketball team and well coached.
Pressure on the ball? Is it
Their pressure, their ball screen defense is a lot different this year than it was last year. They're up more. They get after the basketball. They're in gaps. They have really good size. Outside of Tyler Johnson, those other guys are big and long. Salas is about 6'5", but he's really long. Hildreth is about 6'4", 6'3", but he's got long arms. He anticipates really well. And then Reed's huge. Spillers is about 6'7". They play it hard. They're aggressive. They're in passing lanes. They pressure the basketball. That's how they've been generating turnovers.
When a team covers the gaps like that and pressures the ball, is shooting over it, a long range shooting or mid range shooting?
Passing is the most important thing. You got to get off the ball. So we really have to be a good passing team on Saturday, and we have to be able to make shots. We have to keep them in rotation if we get them in rotation. So that's going to be really important for us. We've been pretty good this year with not turning the basketball over. It's going to be really important in that game with how they get out in transition, but also the types of shots that we take. That's going to be really important. Bad shots lead to your defense not being balanced and leads to fast break points for them.
Ish is shooting a career high from 2-point field goals so far this season. How do you balance telling him, like, hey, look, go be aggressive, because he takes some tough twos, I would say, versus saying, like, look, we need to get the best look every possession.
Yeah, that's just what you keep trying to tell them, and all the guys. We want to get good looks every possession. I don't want to take away Ish's aggressiveness, but if you have two on the ball, if you drive and they converge, we got to kick. You got to trust your teammate, to make that shot. I think we're getting better at that. Those two guys, Ish and Jalen especially, are improving in that area. They're understanding what teams are trying to do when they play us, which is give a lot of attention to those two guys. And I think we're getting better.
Talk about passing. I mean, against North Carolina, you guys had at least two possessions where you 3 or 4 passes really quick. Get North Carolina out of, I wouldn't say out of system, but you're just finding ways to get good looks. I mean, is that more something recently you've been working on, or is it just something that?
No, that's something we work on all the time. I just think we're getting better at getting off the basketball quicker, understanding the reads. I thought we had some outstanding plays against North Carolina where we did that, where we got them in rotation, we kept them in rotation. Some we were able to capitalize on. We capitalized on a lot, some in the first half, not as many in the second half. But as long as we're generating good looks, and when the ball moves, it normally means good looks for us.
With another game coming up 2 days later, is your bench a little bit more important at Wake Forest?
Our bench is always important, but if you get minutes, you got to come in. You got to play well. If you play well, then you normally get more minutes. So our bench is always important. We believe in those guys. We'll see how the game goes.
Your bench minutes was, I think, under 40 minutes the last three games, but it was over 40 minutes the three games before that. Is there a reasoning for that, or is that just like the feel of the game when that kind of stuff happens?
It's the feel of the game. I mean, you said the previous three games we didn't win them. So, maybe you look to do something different. I think it's important to do something different if you're not winning. And so, again, we have confidence in those guys off the bench, but when they get minutes, you have to produce, and it doesn't mean scoring. That's the thing. Some people may think they may think it means scoring. I thought Jorge played well in his minutes. He defended the heck out of R.J. Davis. R.J. hit a tough two on him. We live with that, you know. So you got to play your minutes. You got to come in, whether if you're a guy that can make a shot and you get a wide open shot, you got to take the shot. You can't force a shot. You have to know what we're doing defensively. If we're in a coverage, you have to know the coverage. If you're supposed to be help, you can't be a guy that they just try to pick on and you come in and, okay, we're going to go at him. You got to be able to stand up. And so normally when you do that, you earn more.
To read last year when they were here, you guys put Jefferson on him and late in the game, kind of stymied him, and then they kind of got you guys back when you were there, but then you guys won the tournament. What have you learned about defending him as a big, and what you guys have to do to slow him down?
Yeah, he's a tough guy to guard because he's big, he's huge, and he's strong. He does a really good job of posting. He can score with either hand. He's got good touch. He's a really good free throw shooter, and he's a good offensive rebounder. You have to try to guard him before he gets it. You have to try to get him out of his spots. You can't let him. You have to try to prevent him from getting deep post ups. If you can get him to catch it off the block, maybe one step, and then have help, whether you're digging, if we double, and try to make him take tough shots, and then hope that he misses. We got to keep him off the glass. That's a huge thing. A lot of times, if he doesn't get it, he does a great job of hitting it back out, swatting it back out. So we have to do a good job there.
Is there extra work you guys have done considering the rebounding struggles you guys have had for the past month or so?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it, but we've tried to work on it. We've emphasized it. We'll continue to do it. Try to find some different things to do. Hopefully, we're better at it.
What's been the biggest difference for your team this past 2 games compared to the 4-game losing streak you had prior?
I think we've learned. I think we've gotten better with sustaining how hard we have to play for a longer, more extended period of time. If you look at the last 2 games, really, the last 4 minutes, we've made plays against North Carolina. We got some 50-50 balls. We got some rebounds, whereas in the previous 2 home games, Clemson and Louisville, we didn't get those 50-50 balls late. We didn't rebound the basketball late, and both of those teams made us pay for it. Against North Carolina and Syracuse, we were able to get some stops. We were able to get a couple of rebounds against North Carolina, and then we were able to go down and score, make some free throws to extend the lead.
What do you guys have to do to kind of keep the flow when you guys are playing defensively? Like we talked about this a lot this year, as far as a whole game, but like first half and the last game, not as much. Second half, you guys put the clamps down. Is there a trigger that you have to reach as a coach to get there, or what are the?
Well, we have to start better. I don't like the way we started last game, or the way we started the second half. So we have to be better there. We have to understand what our opponent is trying to do to us. One of the things that each opponent has tried to do, especially with our backcourt, is to be super physical. So we have to understand that. Against North Carolina, we come out and we had talked about it, but we didn't really do it right away. We got a out of bounds called on us on the side when we were going to ball screen, and our immediate reaction is to turn to the ref and say that they pushed us. They're going to push you. We have to know that, and we have to be prepared for that, and we have to attack it. We have to know what our opponent's trying to do, and we have to be ready to attack it. We talk about it. We have to be able to go. Now, we adjusted. I thought the second half, the biggest adjustment is what we did schematically defensively. We just switched, and it kept us out of rotations. I think what we talked about doing, our coaching staff in the first half, it wasn't the right way to guard North Carolina. They made us pay for it. And so we were able to adjust in the last 3.5 minutes of the first half, and we stuck with that in the second half, and it worked for us. So proud of our guys for being able to make that adjustment, and it forced us to talk more, be in the help more, to fly around defensively more. And so if we are not switching, if we're in our other coverages, we have to play the same way.
Jeff, every coach wants 40 minutes of intensity, but how hard is that really for any team to attain?
It's hard, but the really good teams understand how to do it. The really good players understand how to do it. They understand how to play through tired. Normally when you're tired, you get inward. When you get inward or tired, I was taught, and I didn't do this well as a freshman, but as I got older, I figured it out. Like, you talk more because then your mind's not thinking about being tired. If you can think about somebody else, then normally you're not thinking about you, or I'm tired, or whatever. Um, but the really good teams understand how to get as close to 40 minutes as possible. We're trying to become a really good team. We're getting closer to that. Um, the last two games were indicative of that. We were close against Louisville and Clemson. Again, if we get one rebound, one 50-50 ball late, maybe it's a different story. But I'm trying not to think about the rear view. I'm trying to stay present. So let me talk about right now. Hopefully, we're building on what we've done the last two games.
When you make an adjustment again, like you did in North Carolina, where you say, "Hey, we switched," is that something that you're like, "Hey, this is a plan B that we planned for this specific week," or are those instances where it's like you as a coach just know you have this wide gamut of different strategies that you have to pick from, and sometimes just picking the right one?
Yeah, we work on different things all the time. When we played Ohio State, we switched in the second half. And so it's not something that we haven't done. We've done it. But we work on different things, even in practice as we game plan, because you got to prepare for if what you're doing is not working, then you can't just keep doing the same thing. I think that's not smart. And so we try to make adjustments and talk to our guys, watch film, and maybe look at what other teams have done and see if it's something that we can copy, or if teams have had success. Sometimes the makeup of your team is not what others are as far as size or the way they play, but maybe looking at those things. But again, our guys have been pretty good about being able to make adjustments.
With you guys finding success switching everything against Ohio State and then UNC, do you anticipate seeing more of that, or is that just a matchup-based thing?
It's a matchup-based thing. UNC was pretty small, and so sometimes it's a little bit easier. If you're playing against teams that have really good size, the switching could be problematic, and so you have to adjust. But it is something we can continue to do.
Cam, you've been able to score. I think you've scored double digits in 7 of your last 9 games. What have you been able to figure out as far as not just yourself, but how you fit with this offense?
Just picking my spots to be more aggressive. Obviously, we have two guards who are really good, and they bring a lot of attention to themselves. So just playing off them and finding easy buckets.
Cam, when teams are being physical with you guys, how do you need to respond?
I feel like we just got to fight back. Honestly, when they're being physical, we just need to run our offense faster. You can't really push us around if we're running everything faster. We're kind of sluggish and get off the slow starts. That's when teams look like they're being physical with us. But if we run our offense with speed, we'll be fine.
You've been around the ACC for a while. What is your history with Efton Reed?
I played him once last year. We switched everything. I don't think he had much of an impact last year. We beat them. But I know Wake always plays hard. That's what they're known for. They play hard. It's going to be a physical game, a chippy game, so it should be fun.
You guys have lost the rebounding battle in 6 straight games. What do you guys have to do to turn that around, and how are you guys focusing? What are you guys trying to change to get that a better result there?
We're just running in. Like, if you watch a lot of them, it's just the shot will be long, like a 3, and we'll all run under the goal trying to rebound, and then the ball will just bounce over our head or stuff like that. So it's just being more mindful of things like that.
Is there a strategic plan where hey, in certain sets, these guys crash, these guys hold back, or is there something that you could work on like that, or is it just a feel?
I feel like it's more of a feel. Like, everybody has to do their part. Obviously, have to do better, and it's just a collective team effort.
Is it most frustrating when you guys get good position and then all of a sudden there's a long rebound goes over your head?
Yeah, it is frustrating, but we just have to work a little harder, not accept getting pushed under the goal and stuff like that. So it definitely falls on our end.
And personally for you, I mean, this season it's had some ups and downs for the team too, but you went back to your former school, played them a few weeks ago, won a couple games here now. How would you assess this is the ride that the season's taken you on?
It's been a roller coaster, man, emotionally, especially after going back home. It didn't go how you wanted to go, kind of not letting that get you down, going on to the next game, but it's definitely been a roller coaster.
What did you learn from that game in Tallahassee?
you can't take any game for granted. You got to come out to fight. Any team in the ACC can punch you in the mouth, so we just have to come ready to fight every game.
You guys obviously have won your past 2 games, coming after 4 straight losses. What do you think has been the biggest difference for you guys in those victories compared to obviously the losing streak you guys won?
Just making winning plays. Like, if you go back and watch the Clemson game and the Florida State game and stuff like that, it just comes down to like 50-50 balls that we didn't get. But towards the end of the games that we did win, those 50-50 balls were getting, big blocks were getting, so just winning plays.
Cam, similar, what can you guys do to not have those dips in the roller coaster?
I feel like it starts with the halves. Like, first half, we came out sluggish last game. Second half, we came out sluggish again. They kind of got it going. Cape called the timeout, but we just have to start halves better and more aggressive.
You were guarding out towards the 3-point line against North Carolina. What was that like for you, and how confident are you having to guard out there?
It felt normal to me. I had to do that for 2 years, so that's kind of what I'm used to. It just felt like I was back comfortable guarding on the perimeter. I guarded those dudes last year, so just comfortable, really, yeah.
Coach Capel talked about how you are comfortable switching, but the learning experience for you has been doing some of the other ball screen coverages, hard hedging, drop like that. What do you think you've learned about yourself, and how has that experience gone for you so far?
It's definitely been a learning curve. I still have more to learn. I feel like I'm doing better in it, but it just comes down to talking. Like, he gives me the freedom to kind of choose what ball screen coverage I want to be in, but I can't be in between. So if I'm a hedge, I need to go out and hedge. If I'm being dropped, I need to be in drop. So just being more vocal through those will help me a lot.
Is that something you guys go into a game with a plan to guard a different big like that?
We'll go into a plan. It depends on the guard. Like, a more aggressive guard will probably hedge or maybe even trap some. Guard that can't really shoot will try to go under, so it's game plan.
Jeff's talked a lot about the adjustments that you guys make and the pace of when it comes. Are there times where you're seeing, like for example, against North Carolina, when he allows you to just switch and stick with a guy, are there times where you kind of go to Jeff or go to anyone and just be like, hey, if we do this, I can do that? Or do you kind of just, hey, I'm the player, I stick to my role?
Last game, it was actually J-Lo who came out with the suggestion on how to guard particular action they had, and we kind of adjusted from there. So it's player-led for the most part, but it was J-Lo last game.
Zach put on quite an aerial show the other night.
He did,
In your
yeah.
experience, have you been on the court to see anything similar to that in your career?
Somebody defensively like Zach? No, just the way he tracks the ball and blocks shots, I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy.
What about the dunks that he starts at the foul line?
I don't play with some athletes, but like I said, I don't think I've seen nothing like Zach Austin.
You have another player that covers so much ground or that can go block a shot. What does that do for you and your responsibilities defensively?
I feel like as a team, we kind of know Zia is going to block shots, so we can adjust from there. We can go to box out quicker because we know he's going, or we can go to our man a little faster. So it definitely helps us as a team, and we kind of just play off him defensively because he's a playmaker. So let him go make plays, and we'll respond from there.
How would you describe the juice a block shot gives a defense?
Block shots give us a lot of juice, but like Zach blocks are different. Like, he doesn't have quiet blocks. Like, all of them are he's smacking off the glass or throwing it out of bounds. So it gives the team a lot of energy.
When you're playing defense, is there like a sort of an extra gear, an extra freedom that Zach gets because of that ability? That
For sure.
Hey, when you're guarding a guy charging, if a guy's coming to the lane, Zach may have the guy in the wing, but he has more of a liberty to say, I'm coming to help.
Yeah, for sure. Since he blocks shots, he has the liberty. If he feels like he can go get it, he can go get it. Same thing with Ish and steals. Like, if Ish feels like a dude's going to spin, he can just run off his man and go get the ball. So coach gives us freedom based on what we can do in that sense.
So when you have players with that kind of freedom, does that heighten the communication?
For sure, yeah. Because we can get a feel of when they're going to do it, but once we talk through it, it kind of just helps the team.
What do you guys have to do to start faster in games? Like, you talked about playing faster, but to make sure that is the pace that you guys start with.
Defensively, really, like, I don't think coach would mind if we started the game and after the first media it's 5-4 or something like that. Like, if defensively we're locked in, the offense will come, but we can't start a game and give up 16 points in the first media, stuff like that. So just defensively.
Speaking of the communication that we were just talking about, on defense, are you supposed to be the loudest guy, being the anchor of that defense?
Yeah, being the big, I'm supposed to be the loudest, and I definitely need to do a better job of that. Just make sure everybody can hear me since I can see everything. So.
What are the type of things you're shouting out during defensive possession?
Obviously, my ball screen coverage, where to send guards, because I'm in the back, I can see everything. So I need to talk to the guards on where to send people, get through screens, stuff like that.
You enjoy that role?
I do enjoy it, yeah, especially playing with the guys. I enjoy playing with them, so it just makes it fun.
You talked earlier in the year, kind of jokingly admitted, but about how Guillermo sometimes can start talking in Spanish, and you're like, hey, and there are times in communication when you're like, whoa, I didn't know what you just said there.
Yeah, his pregame speech is still half English, half Spanish. I don't know, but I like the energy.
What is it? What's different when he's on the floor with you at the same time that you guys are able to do? Because like Zach is that freelance that can come on from wherever, but it seems like Guillermo and Jorge really have both figured out ways to contribute a lot of different ways for you guys in tight spots.
Yeah, they've been making a lot of winning plays. Like G's been crashing the glass, and I remember specifically against Duke, he didn't get the rebound, but he tipped it to me, and I got a dunk. So just making extra effort plays, he's been helping us in that way. And then Jorge's come up big for us, making threes, making winning plays, getting offensive rebounds against Syracuse. So just stuff like that.
Against Syracuse, like the first I want to say 2-3 possessions, it seemed like the plan was feed Cam down low, and he gets buckets. I think he started with like 4 or 6 points in the first before that first timeout. How often do you see this coaching staff and this team saying, Cam, ball's coming to you here because we need to win that matchup?
I feel like it's more just a personal thing. Like every time you go out, you obviously want to win your matchup, but sometimes you'll look at the game and know you can be more aggressive on this big than others. So sometimes instead of taking it to a handoff, I'll just look to attack and stuff like that. So it just comes down to like a personal winning the matchup thing.
Doing all that, directing traffic from your spot back there and telling people where to go, make you want to be a coach someday?
I don't know if I could coach, man. Cape got a lot of patience. I don't know if I had the patience like him. Can't do it.
What have you kind of learned about the overall attitude of this group over this last 2 games, being able to right the ship after facing some adversity?
We have a lot of fighters, man. A lot of dudes who won't put their head down in tough moments, and we just rally together as a team. So got a tough team.
When you guys are able to kind of play defense at your best, how does it energize your offense? Because it seems like when you guys lock it down, there's pushes where you guys score really fast. There's other times where the defense doesn't always translate to points.
I feel like defense just kind of takes the pressure off offense. Like when you know you're getting stops anytime you want, offense kind of just comes easy. But when other teams scoring, then it puts pressure on offense. You feel like you have to score. Some dudes feel like they have to do more than they need to do. So defense just takes pressure off everything, really.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.